Thank you. Good afternoon to all of you.
Good afternoon, sir.
First, I would like to thank KCET, for the opportunity. I enjoy, the one thing that I do in my life is I enjoy whatever I do. Just now from Bangalore, Gwalior, I flew 120, I landed, and then I didn't want to disappoint any one of you. So therefore, I am there online. Now this blended mode has helped you. Wherever you are, you can talk to them. That's one advantage. Disadvantages are also there. Once my talk starts, people can sleep also. So both are there. Let us hope that. So today, in the present context, national education policy is very, very important. This is coming, as all of you know, after 34 years. This is the third in the series after the independence. First one was way back in 1968, Kothari Committee, again in 86. And today in the sense last year, July 29, which happened to be the birthday of our JRD Tata also. So their cabinet has approved the national education policy. So what I try to do is, I will try and tell you how was the education earlier, maybe a minute or two, what it is today, what is going to be the future. So basically what education 4.0 means and what industry 4.0. And the technologies, as all of you know, is changing. So therefore, little time that I spend on that. And I will highlight on the NEP 2020, which is important. I may not spend much time on the primary education. Let's concentrate on the technical education. And salient future, what are the important objectives of this NEP and implementation? It's easy to write, easy to say, but implementation is not an easy task. Challenges, definitely there will be challenges. And finally, what is the role of the institute, like all of you, from various institute, I am told. So what is our role? I am fond of showing this. What is COVID? My definition of COVID is entirely different, not in biological terms. COVID, if you carefully look at it, it is to create opportunity for victory in disaster. They're wonderful, things that happened. Of course, pandemic troubled all of us, but with all that, we have been surviving, we are doing, and then, we are innovating also. So therefore, before Christ, after Christ era, I would like to call it as before Corona and after Corona. A minute or two about education 4.0. As all of you know, long ago, India definitely is Gurukul. People have taught children, the students under the tree. So, and later, as all of you know, in the 80s, 90s, only mere lecturing and memorization. But we realize that this is not good enough for learning. So therefore, in the education 2.0, internet have come, open sources are available. This has changed the whole scenario. And finally, what for education is for knowledge. So therefore, in the third stage of our education 3.0, the knowledge producing education is what we all started practicing. And today, knowledge alone will not take us anywhere. So in addition to knowledge, it is an innovative producing education. What it means to all of us is, along with the knowledge, we need to acquire skills and attitude. Definitely for professional degrees, this is very important, very important. And if you see this education 1.0 to 4.0 and compare the industry development, which we call today industry 4.0. So if you go back to the 18th century, we have an industry first industry revolution where we used to produce some machines which are either powered by water or steam, very small primitive ones. But later, during the World War, we started seeing the industry 2.0. So in this revolution, we started seeing the mass production. The best example that you could see, as figure shows, even railway engines on the track. And as all of you know, that computers, the electronics, information technology has completely changed the industry scenario. So in the industry 3.0, we all got into autonomous. So perhaps today you don't have to go to railway station to book a ticket. You don't have to go to bank if you have a card where if you have sufficient money, you can swipe the money wherever you are through ATM. So these all were the third stage of our industry revolution. Today, in the industry, the fourth, what we call it as industry 4.0, everything is based on cyber physical system, IoTs, Internet of Things. You can get connected, IoT in agriculture, IoT in health sector, IoT in pharmaceutical, anything that you name. Now today, everything has become cyber physical system. So why I showed these two slides is, we have been moving very fast. In the last 10, 15 years, we have to cope up. Of course, COVID also helped us in a way to get into this. So when we talk about education, quality is important. Quality of education, I always have a lot of values to our great Sir C.V. Raman, as all of you know. He was the first Nobel laureate in whole Asia in physics. Such a great man. We are all blessed. He was our director in 1933, first Indian origin director at IISc Bangalore. He said long ago, I quote, "Students of today are being taught by teachers of yesterday with curriculum which is of the day before yesterday." It's just not possible. But this is all possible at home. You prepare some sambar, you can keep it, take another device called oven, eat it up and heat. That is possible in our food style, but not definitely in the education. The another great man in the world, as all of you know, Albert Einstein, he also said, I quote, "I never try to teach my students anything. I only try to create an environment where they can learn." So the new education policy is all about, providing everything to the student, learner. We should not be teaching everything in the class, everything in the lab, the seminars that we speak, internships, projects, mini projects, all these things, will lead to the skill and attitude. So therefore, we should, all of us as a teacher, we should do. You must have gone through this. There are teachers are classified into 5 groups. A mediocre teacher, they call. Teacher is always good. I cannot call mediocre, but he only tells. He reads and comes and vomit in the class. A good teacher explains. A perfect teacher demonstrates. A gifted teacher inspires. A modern teacher facilitates. I'm sure after today's talk, I want all my teachers who are listening to me to be a gifted teacher or a modern teacher. So finally, what is the aim of the education? Education should provide 4 important things: knowledge, know-how, wisdom, and character. Knowledge is plenty today. It's all about understanding the basic principle, formally or non-formally. You Google anything today, you'll get it. But what is important is know-how. How to do things rightly. Wisdom, to set priority to work. Character, to make trustworthy and respectable member of the society. So therefore, education ultimately should lead to these 4. As all of you have been watching, there is a huge paradigm shift. Just to name a few, a written examination will all in future becomes coursework. Tutor-led assessment, that is teacher-led assessments, all will become student-led assessment. As all of you know, it is all about student-centric. Implicit will become explicit. Competitions is broad, is becoming collaborations. Product assessment, again, broad will become process assessment. Objectives slightly broader will become outcomes. Content is becoming competencies, and course assessment, what we have been doing either two, will all become modular assessment. So therefore, things are changing because today, as I showed you, the education 4.0 and industry 4.0, the industry expects the following skill in the present context. What are they? Complex problem solving. That is very important. So then critical thinking, creativity, people management, and so on. Finally, cognitive flexibility. See, for instance, I was in IAC for last 39 years, which is not possible in future. People move from one place to another, one company to another, so you have to adapt yourself. So therefore, our learning, teaching learning should lead to these important skills. If anyone, any institution thinks of producing the engineers who are employable. So the future India is great. As all of you know, we were in made in India long ago. Products were made, labeled, and sold in India locally. But now we are make in India. New foreign investment, Indian market. We give jobs to our people. We make profit. Part of it we give it to the investor. Digital India is essential for this to make it, to achieve the make in India. So therefore, digital infrastructures should be provided to every citizen, which perhaps it is happening. Today, we don't know how to live without a mobile phone. Governance and services are on demand. Everything will single window things are coming up. So with this brief preamble, let me say a few highlights of the NEP. It is a 484-page document which is available in the website, and a shorter version of the 29th July 2020 cabinet note of 66-page is available, which which takes care of all the primary education to the PhD. So I think I urge every one of you to go through this 62-page, that too about 15-20 page about technical education, so that you will get a clearer idea. India is a great country, a big number. We have 35 crore students are studying nowhere in the world. About 1.1 crore teachers, 1,000 universities, 10,000 standalone institutions, and 130 centrally funded IISc, IIT, IIM, ISER, and central universities, and so on. So all of us last about 40 or 50 years, 10+2 system, we got used to it. I think 71. That is 10. After that, first PU, second PU, or 11th or 12th. The whole 10+2 with, of course, the primary LKG, UKG, and Montessori, totally 15 years of time has been now divided into 4 parts. 5+3+3+4 model, which I will tell you in the next slide, spending half a minute. And the examinations now will not be held on all the 12 years. So at the end of 3rd standard, 5th standard, and 8th standard. So formative, if all of you understand, formative is a continuous. Students should learn every day, every hour that they listen to the class. So therefore, assessment should become formative rather than summative. You teach for 1 year, at the end, 3 hours, you find out whether they know or not, is not a good way of finding out. So therefore, examination-based assessment, slowly we have to phase out. And up to 5th standard, the new NEP says mother tongue, regional language. One of them can be adopted, so that children will understand anything that we speak in the mother tongue and regional language. And the 4-year UG program will be research-based, which I will talk about it a little later. Another important highlight is multiple entry, multiple exit. In India, we don't have. If you go to America or Canada, If someone wants to leave at the second year, he can go and then work somewhere, come back and join third year, which is not permitted at the moment in India, for which you need to revamp the curriculum. I will speak about that little later. So now you know so many regulatory bodies are there: AICT, UGC, DBT, TST, CSR, all the architecture, pharmacy, everything will be merged into one called Higher Education Council of India. So what they are proposing is a college, if it has to survive, there should be minimum 3,000 students. So now all small colleges with 100 intake, 200 intake cannot survive and cannot implement, cannot bring holistic, cannot bring multidisciplinary, cannot bring. So therefore, the future like-minded societies, like-minded colleges should come together. Then only, and also they want to implement like a NEET, one single exam throughout the country for the admission of the engineering, which is what is envisaged in the new education policy. Another important highlight is gross enrollment ratio. How many students can afford to go to the higher education? Today, about 26% as in 2008. They want to reach in another 10-15 years 50%. In terms of the number, right now about 3 crore students are have an opportunity to go to the higher studies, graduations, post graduations, and this number in India they want to double it to 6 crores. And again, research, you have DBT, DST, CSIR, so many. They want to bring, like United States of America, a single window called NRF, National Research Foundation. So that about 10,000 crore allocated, where they divide into tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. I will talk about that little later. So therefore, in essence, the education is holistic. Humanities, arts, liberal arts, music. Not that 160 credit you can give everything, but at least somebody good in music, somebody in liberal art, he should be able to take up 3 credit or 6 credit in his career and give value to that. It's going to be multidisciplinary. No civil, mechanical and electrical can survive. So you have to mechatronics. See, now with a few civil, mechanical, electrical, the job opportunity will go away. Today, in automobile, how the things are, electric vehicles are coming. So therefore, a mere one subject learning will not lead to anything. So therefore, life skills, employability will all be part of the new education policy. So the Ministry of Human Resource Development, what we used to call, has been renamed as Ministry of Education. Just a minute to show you that there are 4 stages in primary education: foundation stage, preparatory stage, middle stage, and secondary stage. 5, 3, 3, 4. First 5 years from Montessori, first LKG, UKG, first standard, second standard, only play activity based learning. There is no, now today LKG have to carry 5 kg, 6 UKG 6 kg. The number of kgs that they carry is keep going up from LKG to first standard to 5th standard. So that should be reduced. The second level, where the children of the age 8 to 11, when they are in class 3, 4, 5, play, discovery, activity based, interactive classroom starts. Then later in the next 3 years, middle stage, experiential learning in science, maths, arts, social science, humanities. So therefore, what we are thinking of multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, transdisciplinary for a professional degree, the student will start there even in the 3rd, 4th, 5th standard in future. And the last part of the primary education, secondary stage, 4 years, that when they are age 14 to 18, when they are in the class 9, 10, 11, 12. So no PUC and all that, it will become 4 years. There they bring in multidisciplinary, critical thinking, flexibility, student choice. So this is where the whole new education policy is being conducted. So now you may asked me a question, should we wait for all our students to complete 12th standard and then come to BTech? No, we have to do some parallelism that I will talk about it. So the second part, having said about highlights, objective. What is the objective of the NEP? The first objective of the NEP is self-reliant. We are all Atma Nirbhar India. We have to be self-reliant. Today, because of COVID, as all of you know, no country can help any other country. Everybody is in the crisis. So therefore, the employment that we have to create is through skill. Skill-based model we have to come out. Unless we give skill, employability is going to be very tough for our students. The second important objective is sustainable development. United Nations has defined 17 sustainable developmental goals. India also has right now, I've got 39 skill councils. I am a member of one of the council called IESC, Infrastructural Equipment Skill Council, like JCB, Masoner. So how do we produce? We don't have a skill people in the country. So that's where I think every institutions can participate and generate money also, earn internal revenue. So government will identify the people. We have to provide all these modules. This is the second one. Third important one is education as an economy booster. Education, how does education always, as all of you know, decide the progress of the country. When we say it's a progressive country with a good road, good building, good infrastructure, that education leads to that. So no more muscle, money, or knowledge power. Today, only knowledge economy we talk. The GDP, what we are spending at the moment for education is 3%. So Government of India want to spend 6%. I tell you, the 6% also is very small for the number of 35 crore students who are studying from LKG to PhD. So therefore, they want incubation center, entrepreneurship, corporate social responsibility. So we have to bring in, you must have seen already triple ITs, Indian Institute of Information Technologies. There are 21 in the country, of which 4 or 5 only government, rest of them are PPP model, private public partnership. So government gives 50%, 25 state government, 25% entrepreneurs or corporates should run. So this is the model which is going to. The fourth important salient feature is internationalization. In fact, it is not new to India. If you go back, Nalanda University, foreign students used to come to India, Sri Lanka and all other places. So therefore, India is, as all of you know, is a knowledge hub. So we want to even credit transfer, which is not there in India. If you go to America, a student can finish first year in some university, can go to some other state, join other university and carry all his credit to that. So therefore, in the next 4, 5, 6 years, we also have to move towards that credit transfer. Government of India is thinking of about 100 universities to come to India in a competitive basis. Fee, we have to decide, and not that, they can charge 20 lakhs, 40 lakhs. All this, of course, is not an easy task in India. I hope that it will provide. The next important feature of the new education policy, salient feature, is digitized pedagogy and classroom. All of you know that COVID has made us learn how to use digital library, digital content, digital pedagogy. Now we are teaching, we are testing them, assessment, exam, results. Perhaps except eating food, everything we are doing digitized. So online teaching and learning, all of you can, go to National Digital Library, IIT Kharagpur website, NDL, lakhs and lakhs of books, informations are there from primary to this. Now all journals also will be made available to everyone. Every institution need not spend money for journal. So therefore, we are digitizing. This is what I told in the earlier slide, Make in India. But the only problem that we face in India is scalability. So the next important feature is accreditation, quality. Now we have 3,000 engineering college. Only 300, 400 college are autonomous. So therefore, the Affiliation system. Now Anna University is affiliating 500 college, all will go in next 5-10 years. Each college should be degree giving like America. 3,000 colleges or 3,000 universities in America. So that is where the new education policy is moving. So therefore, affiliation system, if it has to go, accreditation is very, very important. So future accreditation is quality of the faculty, technology that you have, and gross enrollment ratio, research facility that you create will become a parameters. So finally, anything that you meaningfully, if you want to do, you need teachers. Teachers have to be trained with the latest technology. So therefore, Government of India is thinking to create, we have a huge country with 718 districts. So in all 718 districts, they want to create a digital technology training center where teachers should be trained. If you want to become a high school teacher, you need B.Ed. You need M.Ed to become a degree college teacher. But to become a teacher in engineering college, we don't need anything at the moment. So therefore, they want to introduce these concepts while doing PhD and masters so that we are short of teachers in the country. We need to produce them. Now, a good research student may not be a good teacher, as all of you know, but every teacher should become a good researcher because research and teaching goes hand in hand. Now, third part of my talk would be on implementation. So implementation, cannot be done in 1 year, 2 year, 5 years. The whole new education policy will be implemented in the next 15, 20 years, stage by stages. So academic credit, I was talking. Transfer of academic credit cannot be done in all 3,000 colleges today. So what Government of India is the ministry is contemplating is first we should try out with IITs in this year and next year. Then go to NITs and slowly autonomous institutes and so on. By next 3-4 years, 300, 400 colleges can come into this ambient. The second one in implementation is multiple exit, multiple entry. Again, it is not possible every college to give student an opportunity to leave whenever he wants and come. So what they are again doing is central universities and IITs and NIT, they want to introduce this. A student at the end of first year, if he leaves, he gets certificate for whatever reason. Second year, if he cannot continue, if he leaves, if he acquires some 80 credit, he will get with skill diploma. Then third year degree, fourth year BTech. So this model is going to be implemented to begin with at IITs, NITs, and central university. Suppose somebody leaves at first year 20, 20, 40 credit. If you give certificate of little physics, chemistry, mathematics, and something language programming, it will not give them any job. They have to acquire this skill. So therefore, how do they do it? We need to have a comprehensive national curriculum framework. We need to change. I told you, even in the primary education, in the middle school, they want to bring in all these concepts. High school, they want multidisciplinary. So therefore, all curriculum framework is being done. And also the teachers need to be trained. As all of you know, ACT has got 8 modules. Those teachers who are less than 5 years. Even professors, I think, need to go through 2-3 modules. So therefore, this is going to be a big challenge for the country. Some of them I will skip for the want of time. So therefore, by 2030, they want to bring in the multidisciplinary. GER, what I told, 3 crore who have an access to the higher education today, they want to increase it to 6 crore by 2035. Affiliation will go and complete national education policy would come into play in full sense in 2040. So what it means is it takes a long number of years, but every year we have to start doing slowly. So the model that they are thinking, as I told you, is 5 years integrated program. 1 year if you leave certificate, 2 year if you leave diploma, 3 year degree, 4th year multidisciplinary degree like BTech, 5th year you get MTech. So no more 4 + 2 6 year BE, ME, it will become ME or MTech in 5 years. Integrated programs, which is already existing in IIT, will be replicated. Midterm drop in North America, as I told you, it is there. Student can leave for academically or for various medical reason. He can leave and then come back and then continue from where he stopped. Arts and science has to be brought into the multidisciplinary. And by 2040, IITs cannot become only engineering and science. IAC now from next year we start medical also. So therefore, like IIT Kharagpur, science, engineering, medicine, management, anything that you speak. So the concept of a university, so they will be called multi-educational, MERO, multi-educational research universities. So if you look at this slide, it will tell you what happens to the next 20 years. So therefore, as I mentioned few minutes ago, curriculum need to be revamped for introducing the diploma exit degrees, and also curriculum at all level, primary to PhD level, and the academic credit transfer and so on. So therefore, this is the timeline. Let me quickly go through some of the challenges. It is not some, there are many challenges. I told you that affiliated system, the example I gave is Anna University has got 500 colleges. That should phase out. We should phase out in the next 10, 15 years. All colleges should become deemed university status. Easy to say, all of you know how difficult it is. Then what is the next challenge that we are all facing? Shortage of faculty, trained faculty. That too technology savvy government. So I told you that there are 718 districts, and all these districts, each training center will need to be created. And yet another challenge is 50% GER. Right now, 25% is we are struggling with teachers, struggling with buildings, struggling with equipment, struggling with bandwidth of the network. We need to double it, the building, network, bandwidth, and so on. The fourth important challenge is public versus private. If you look at today, engineering education, 92% of the colleges are private. Government is about 8%, and there are no teachers in the government institutions. So that is a problem. How do we come out of that? Urban versus rural. India is a country where a lot of villages. Now, at least with the liberalization, we have so many 3,000 college. Saram Visheshwaraya, when he studied, there was no college in Karnataka, Mysore. He went to College of Engineering, Pune, and then did his engineering there. College of Engineering, Pune is 175-year-old now, second oldest in the country. So that was the scenario. But now, how do we, rural, can we give everything what we have in the urban setup? And the new education policy wants each student should be identified. Fostering, fast learner, slow learner, we have to identify and then groom them. And country like ours is a diversity. How do we bring the curriculum, pedagogy, and policy to be implemented? Education, as all of you know, is a concurrent. Central government cannot impose everything on the state. State government also cannot tell the institution. So therefore, implementation has to be done at every level. Government saying, central government saying, state government saying, university saying, it won't happen. And country like ours, full equity and inclusion. We have reservation policies, all those things have to be synergy in the curriculum, because multi-critical thinking, multidisciplinary, therefore, all these requires an integrity and transparency, autonomy, and so on. So finally, we end up with finally all the education institutions after 10-15 years will be classified into 3 groups. Tier 1, multi-educational research universities like IITs, IIMs, IASC. The second tier is research university. Anna University, Visheshwaraya Technical University, JNTU, and all the technical university will become research university because they cannot affiliate. And the third one is called teaching university. Like KCET and all that, in the next 5-10 years, we should try to become a teaching university. degree giving university, standalone university. So while doing this, a big problem that we all face is fee structure. When we say non-profit organization, is it really true? People are being exploited in the private universities. Academic bank credit, ABC, a big challenge. 3,000 college, a student can go from one place to another. How do we do it? So therefore, what Government of India is thinking is to create a national mission for mentoring. A superannuated faculty members from good institutions, they want to be made national mentors. They will be given 1 or 2 colleges. They will prepare 3-4 years a college right now affiliated to autonomous to a degree giving teaching universities. So therefore, technology forums like Swayam platforms are all being created already, and National Research Foundation. They want to create about 10,000 crore grant for research. So the first type of university will get about 5 crores. 5,000 crores, and 3,000 crores will be given to the teaching university, research universities. Another 2,000 crore will be given to the teaching universities. So therefore, now today everybody is competing in the same basket, but a college like KCET need not compete with IAC, IIT, and so on. So each one will, that is called equity. That model is being worked out. Who is going to do all this? Higher Education Council of India. So there are 4 verticals. One is called NHERC, National Higher Education Regulatory Council. Today you have ACT, UGC, architecture, pharmacy, and so on. Except medical and legal, I don't know for a reason, all other education sector will come under NHERC for regulation, single body. And second important wing of this Higher Education Council is accreditation. We have to make every institution autonomous. Then only it is possible to give degree giving institute. So therefore, today we have NBA and NAC. They cannot be doing 50,000 colleges. So therefore, they are thinking of so many public bodies also to come together to form accreditation body. For instance, in America, professional bodies are also involved. IEEE, Computer Society of India. So therefore, in India also we may have to bring in Higher Education Grant Council, because any education needs grant, funding, finance. Who decides? How do you make transparent? So that is the third part of the third wing of the higher education. And the fourth one, we call it as the General Education Council. Graduate attributes. All of you know in the outcome-based education. How do we know that student has learned? All this requires a national higher education qualification framework that will be formulated under GS. So these 4 wings will take care of all. So in essence, what we have to do today, if you want to bring in critical thinking, interactive class, experiential learning, core essential has to be reduced. Today we make our student to sit 40 hours in a class, like a primary school in the. So therefore, curriculum in all subjects should be reduced first. That's the first principle. Then only the critical thinking part, inquiry, discovery, analysis-based teaching, and holistic teaching, what we talk, is possible. For which you need interactive classrooms, interactive teaching with less dependency on the textbook, and question bank kind of a thing will be promoted. Experiential learning, it should be with fun, collaborative, with case studies, that what we call in engineering, all will lead to peer learning. Students have to learn each other. That is missing in the COVID, as you can see. So all these blocks, whatever I spoke today. So now let's see what the role of the institute quickly. The people in jokier, in the lighter way, they say, if you want to do academics, you go to USA. If you want to do adventurous, you go to Australia. And if you want to be innovative, be in India. So that is great India is. So what we have to, first thing that we need to do is can-do attitude, mindset. Mindset we have to change. Readiness of faculty members for making this shift. All of us have to change our mindset. Review the current programs. I told you, multidisciplinary. Civil cannot remain a civil. Major, minor, honors degree, now minor degree, machine learning, minor degree. There's so many, a fellow who gets civil engineering major can get minor in electronics or minor in computer. So this kind of a preparation that we all have to do. So I told you that there are 3,000 colleges. So therefore, if mechanical engineers and civil would know there are 3 types of flow: laminar, boundary, and turbulence. If you take IITs, they are already in the laminar. They can adopt the new education policy quickly. The autonomous institutions like KCET and all that are in the boundary. With little effort, in 2, 3, 4 years, they can start introducing, part by part. Turbulence, large 2,500 colleges in the turbulence, affiliated colleges. So in management, there is a word called VUCA, VUCA. What it means? Volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. Anything we study, anything we do, people of management say everything is volatile, it's very, market is uncertain, very complex and ambiguous. But still we have to find a solution. What is the solution? Go from the reverse direction. First, A, agree, adapt. And agility is fast, there's no point in taking the ticket of trains left. And C, collaboration and cooperation. U, unified, teamwork. V, values and victorious. Then you become victorious. So therefore, even VUCA is a problem, we have a solution for that, for which you need to think differently. You have to bring in science, engineering, technology, liberal art, humanities. That is holistic. So one example I would like to give is Idea Center. Every institution should have an ideation center, because idea will lead to finally some project or product or patent. So therefore, I told you every teacher should do research. Why? Without research, the teaching will not improve. And therefore, you have to be innovative. If you are innovative, then you can have some ideas, you can bring it to incubation, you can make some prototype, then to startup, then become an entrepreneur. So finally, we have to now start producing the entrepreneurs. If 1,000 students are there, at least 40, 50 entrepreneurs, so that these 50 people will give 2 to 3 jobs to others. So therefore, every institution should create a center called RISE, R-I-S-E, research, innovation, startup, and entrepreneur. So this requires 5 important P's, mantra of 5 P's. First P, problem. Second, what you should do is, right now, projects are given at the 7th semester, they will do something, you evaluate and throw them and go. That's not a good model. You have to combine on some, problem, that area of technology, students from 2nd year, 3rd year, and 4th year. 10 students from 2nd year, 10 from 3rd year, 10 from 4th year. Let us say they work on some robo. Give some problem. At the end of the 1st year, the 4th year student will pass out and 1st year student will get in, so that some 30 groups will continue the same problem. Then the problem will become a project. At the end of the 2nd year, the 4th year passes out, 1st year gets in. So therefore, a group of 30, in which 20 of them are seniors, will continue this project, then it will become a product. After 3rd year, a product will become a patent. If not patent, placement. So this is called 5 P's. Problem should be converted always into a project to a product to a patent, and patent to a, if not patent, everybody cannot be patented, it will become a placement. So therefore, startup is going to be the order of the day. failure, bound to happen. Don't worry. FAIL, if you look at it carefully, first attempt to improve learning. ISRO, earlier we failed, but today you know where we are. Greatest country in the space program in the world. So therefore, technology we have to use for teaching, but technology cannot replace the teacher. Teacher is a teacher. Technology can only augment. Now today we talk about artificial intelligence that we can use for personalized learning. Who is a slow learner? Who is a fast learner? How do we make him improve and so on? And virtual labs. COVID, all of you must have learned how to use. IITs and NITs have created a virtual lab so that future 3 hours lab may go away. They can do virtually at home 2 hours and then 1 hour they may come to the lab physically. So this is all because of the technologies like augmented reality, virtual realities, online exams. Then even today what we spoke, e-convocations are happening and virtual universities. I told you, except eating food, everything is become virtual. So therefore, you need to have a smart learning management system. Every institution should develop one. What is there, but you have to adopt learning management system, which will help you to teach, assess, grade impartially. Create combination of subject basket. That is important. Otherwise, multidisciplinary will not come. Now, future is going to be blended. Flexible curriculum, assessment tools are changing, experiential learner coming into play, and more formative. We should give more emphasis for the formative, continuous learning, not in the end. So therefore, credit transfer initiative, I told you, IIT and NIT have already started from this year, and by the time it comes to our institution, it will take some more time. And virtual labs enhancement, every institution should do. And IIT Madras has a wonderful concept, BSc Data Science. You know that only in the country 15,000 can go to IIT. So what Madras thought is, without writing JEE, if they cannot get into IIT, they should get the IIT degree. So they started a program called BSc Data Science. About 2,600 students were admitted. Now they are getting graduated this time. So that is a wonderful concept. So each institution should not worry about our own student. Students who are outside, this is called outreach. Outreach program is also important. So therefore, we need to create center of excellence, which is area and domain in which we have expertise. So I was talking about RISE, research, innovation, incubation, startup, and entrepreneurship. So therefore, startup, I just want to motivate you by saying, if you look at the word startup itself has got wonderful concept. First, yes, successful. How does a startup become successful? By using second letter T, technology, correct technology that you have to choose. And third letter is A, agility. As I told you, move quickly, otherwise you miss everything. R, fourth letter, re-engineering. You know where Korea is, where Japan is. Tinkering lab, the skill that ready-made experiment that you give to the student will not make them learn. So therefore, even if you have 1 dozen experiment, you need to split them into off open-ended, off closed loop. I was in Berlin. I saw only 2 students. Like in Indian context, I asked them why today all our friends are absent. They laughed at it. They said, no, this batch consists of only 2 students. I said, why? No, we have 12 experiments in this semester. We can select whichever the professor lab and can do depending upon our choice. That is called choice-based. Because in Indian context, not an easy, number game is very big. That is where we need to worry about it. T, the next letter, teamwork. Unless you work as a team, I told you a model. Second year student, third year, fourth year should work on some problem. Then only it will become a project and then a product or a patent. U, next letter, unique. Approach should be unique. Novelty, new. P, persistence, patience is very important. Last, S, is societal. Take some problem of society. Country like ours, we have agriculture, rural area, infrastructure, energy, we are short of energy in the country. Renewable energy we can work. And finally, healthcare. Last 2 years we have been struggling. So therefore, you take some societal problem and then do these startups. So future technology, just to name a few, artificial intelligence. It is in education we can use for fast learner, slow learner, and even today for examination, proctor system, we can use artificial intelligence. Medicine, and AI is used for diagnosis. AI is being used with a robo even for surgeries. Blockchain, is to do with the management, is the Bitcoin and all that. Genetic testing is also an important area. Today, the COVID Omicron that we see, unless we do genomics, we are nowhere. 3D printing is picked up, additive manufacturing, and AR, VR. Today, convocations that you do virtually, everything that we are doing today is all because of the augmented and virtual reality. And future is going to be autonomous vehicle. Of course, in India is difficult because of the chaotic driving condition. But what is possible, what is required in India is we cannot afford the petrol, 100 rupees. So therefore, in 5 years, you don't see petrol bunks. You will be seeing charging stations. NIT Tiruchi and BHEL already working on electric vehicle, not just car, not just scooter, even trucks, bus. So in another 5 years time, you may see buses only with electric, less pollution, eco-friendly. So we have to work on that. Hyperloop, underground, it can go much faster than the aircraft. 10 minutes, you can go even, thousands of kilometers. And lastly, smart cities. Plenty of opportunity. India, it needs a lot of infrastructure, good roads, good buildings, good communication system. So therefore, civil, mechanical, electrical, computer science, all engineers are required. So I stop here. To end, I always love to show this slide. To achieve the quality, to achieve the new education policy, we need to work together, collaborate with each other, tolerate the differences, and respect the diverse views, because none of us is as smart as all of us. Today, whoever is listening to me, I'm sure that all of us can come together, put our hand together, and see that something meaningful national education policy can be implemented at your respective institutions. And then our nation will go. So I stop here. I would like to thank the management and every one of you for giving me this opportunity to speak to you. Hope that I could give an overview of what are the highlights, what are the salient features, what is the timeline, and what are the challenges. Of course, there are plenty, and what each one of us can do in implementing the new education policy. Thank you very much.